Gentlemen, oh my, we are back.
We're back
again for round 2. We told you guys like there was going to be a 2, and because you got 2 silver stars, not a lot of people have 2 of them. Like, do people question you when you say you need a device for your silver star when you went to buy that at clothing sales?
You know, I actually got them from a place in Oklahoma, and they actually called me to confirm that
You're like, hey, you had an oak leaf cluster on your silver star.
Yeah.
Is that a typo? You're like, nah.
Well, hell, they didn't believe the first one. Yeah.
I mean, an interesting day too. It's September 11th.
Yeah.
We're also 5 days away from the 10-year anniversary of a friend of both of ours, Mr. Danny Sanchez, Senior Airman Danny Sanchez. Did you know him?
I did not know him, but I knew him in reputation.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Because you showed up to his unit shortly after.
I did. Yeah.
He was killed. Real good buddy of mine. You know, I met him right as he was graduating AST. All of them were out. Him and Bob Ford and a bunch of other really, really cool guys. And I was PCSing to Florida at the time and was down there house hunting. So linked up with him. He was a skateboarder, still skating. I was a skateboarder, and you know, we had a long conversation at the swamp about Blink 182, and then I was like, I'm moving here in a month. I will see you as soon as I get down here. And then once I moved there, him and I just, it worked.
Yeah.
I'd bought all my camera equipment shortly after I had moved there, and he was like the first person to go test it with. We went to the skate park together and everything. Really, really good dude.
Yeah.
Still miss him.
I'll tell you what, man. I wish I'd had the opportunity to meet him. I heard all the stories, all the drunken debauchery, and I mean, the dude knew how to live life, man.
He was fun. That smile was contagious, and always had batshit crazy ideas.
And that smile, the smile, dude. That
still to this day, yeah. We're gonna have to get you that clip of him walking through my kitchen right now, smiling up at you. He was awesome, man. And I always still think about it. I'm actually working on a song about him right now that I've been writing. That's more so about the fact that I'm so disappointed that he didn't get to see where we came after. You know, he was there in the beginning when I first got all these cameras, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. And he's like, yeah, we should do that. Like, we should do this. We should do this. We should do this. Like, damn, man. I'm a firm believer that he would be a prominent character now in the Black Rifle world and our world with me, him, and Matt. Like,
you know, I didn't know that he was your best friend until, you know, you had us over and we were in the pool and you told us that he was your best friend. And I, you know, the whole time I kept thinking like, man, he'd be right here right now doing the same shenanigans.
And I met a lot of really good guys from him too. Like, you know, leading on to that, he had introduced me to a lot of guys that have moved on to do some crazy cool things in the 7/24th. What is it now? It's no longer the 24th.
I don't even know. It changes day by day.
They keep changing the name. But yeah, a lot of guys that went on to do some really cool things. You know, he introduced me to a really cool crowd. And yeah, so cheers to Danny Sanchez on this episode. We miss you, buddy. We wish you were here.
Definitely.
But today, you know, we're getting into it. We're getting a good war story today, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely so I ended my career, you know, on a very, very good note. Like what we would call a JTAX wet dream.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah. So how, like you said, this second award spans a 15-day mission or operation that you were a part of. And again, something that you weren't expecting at all. right? Like this was another surprise to you.
Yeah.
Like,
I had no idea.
You keep thinking people start asking you questions. You keep thinking you're in trouble.
Yeah. Well, we're out there to try to do a job.
Yeah.
This is what we train for. This is what we do, and honestly, like awards or no awards, like I honestly don't, I'm grateful that I got them and I'm grateful that I was recognized for them. But at the same time, I never came into this career field or this community as an award hunter. It wasn't my thing,
Yeah, but and you and I kind of touched on this offline, but the whole awards and decks situation in the military is a very weird and kind of frustrating world.
Yeah.
Like because there doesn't seem to be a standard like where they've never come out and gone, okay, if you do or achieve or accomplish this is how we're going to do it. It's all very subjective. So it's like I've seen instances where rank gets in the way, where, oh, he's too low of a rank for us to consider him for a high award. Well, no, that shouldn't matter. That should be completely irrelevant. Or we can't give this guy this award because he got an Article 15 before he deployed. Well, no, that doesn't change what he did at all. And oh, by the way, like a guy gets in trouble and then corrects himself and goes out and does something heroic. How the hell are you going to we can't give this guy an award for this situation because he got in trouble? That's bullshit.
Absolutely. And a lot of it spans from, there's a lot of animosity.
Jealousy, ego.
Exactly.
People think that the second they give this award. I mean, look at guys like GZ. He got the Air Force Cross and then went back to work the next day. And he still, he received the cross, almost 6, 7, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah.
And he's still active duty today, going back and just doing the job. I never even knew this until recently when I was down at Marcus Luttrell's ranch. After he came back from Red Wings and came home, he went on another deployment to Fallujah.
Damn.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Healed up and then went on another. I don't think a lot of people know that. He got back to work.
Yep.
Just like you guys do. So I don't know where it comes from. We do know where it comes from.
It's funny because for my first award, I actually had to go up to the Pentagon because I don't think that. We're Air Force. When you think about Air Force, what do you really think about? Not to downplay anybody else in the Air Force, but it's not a frontline, combat role. So a lot of these guys, the decisions, especially for some of these higher awards, they look at it and the first thing they see is, oh, he's an Air Force guy. So you don't, historically, you don't think about an Air Force guy as being on the front lines. We're realistic, we have to do something pretty amazing. And a lot of times what it comes down to, which is, I think this is what brought the awards review to potentially upgrade folks, is that there are teams, there are guys that go out there and they do stuff on missions that are absolutely amazing. But because there was no loss of life, no catastrophic loss of life, it doesn't get a lot of attention. No,
that's an amazing point too. And there's something I want to share with you eventually. I've got one of our buddies' stories. Heinous situation, but everybody came out alive. They did everything right. Why isn't that recognized?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why aren't we awarding oh man, you guys did it. And Tavis Delaney got a Silver Star for it.
Yeah.
But still, it just seems, you're right. You're absolutely right. It seems like they downgrade it if, all of you almost didn't die. But wait,
okay.
It's like Tavis just controlled aircraft for a 20-hour plus fight against 450 Taliban and brought every one of his people home.
Yeah.
Wait, well, what?
And a lot of it's leadership, man. I don't think a lot of people take the time necessarily to read into. And, a lot of the AARs, after action reports that we do, you read it and, most of the guys aren't out seeking awards. They write what happened. And, for us, this is business as usual. It's a day-to-day thing. And, while somebody may see it as, something extraordinary, for us, guys doing it out in the battlefield, it's, you're protecting the man to your left and your right of you. So
here was my thought process when I was in, because I remember this. I got into an argument with one of my ALOs probably around 2008 when I went to ALS. And it was like, I get it. What we do is our job. Our job is to go to combat. Our job is to be a JTAC or a controller in combat. This is our job. But like when we do face the enemy in weird situations or crazy situations or overwhelming situations, and we do our job well, just like everywhere else in the military, when you do your job well, you are awarded something or recognized for it. Like I always hated, there was no kind of distinguishment between when I went to ALS, I'm wearing the same award that I have, and what it says that how I got that is not the same for who I'm sitting next to in that room that never left, never was in an unsafe environment, never had to make a decision that said, okay, this could be the rest of my life. This could end me. This could do this, but I have to do this for the mission or to save the guys that I'm with. So it was like, that was frustrating for me because there wasn't this hierarchy in the awards system. And that's what I was arguing with that officer is you're wearing the same award as I am right now, but what I did is substantially different from where you were at. And where I was, it was dangerous in life or death.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree 100%, man. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Armed services as a whole, you sign on that dotted line. Some people realize it, and some people don't. It's a dangerous profession. It's just
we do dangerous shit.
We do dangerous shit all the time. But some folks are closer to that danger, extremely, much closer than the majority of the force.
And that's what I mean. It's like, that's not. I feel sometimes that goes unrecognized. I mean, just with what we've done with that. I mean, you look at Vietnam and World War II, how many private first classes are awarded medals of honor and things like that? Yeah. Like there was a lot. Mm-hmm. Like back then we weren't hell bent on rank. But yes, in my career, I've heard an officer straight up say, we are not giving him that. He is just an E4. Like, what?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
But you apparently had good leadership that was looking out for you and making sure that they were recognizing you for the extraordinary things that you did.
I did. I was extremely fortunate, at the time. And a lot of the guys around that era, I mean, we were fortunate that they actually had an opportunity to go out into the field and to do some of these operations. They may not have been as dangerous or extensive as some of the ones that, the guys before or after followed, but they understood and they knew the criteria and, they had a firsthand account of what actually goes on out in the battlefield.
Yeah. You think that kind of changed perspective?
It definitely changed.
Oh, yeah, it does. I had an F-14 pilot fly into Mosul, Diamondback, Merez, in 2005, and he went on missions with us for 3 days. And that was the most effective thing I think I've ever seen because he got back, he did a debrief with all the pilots currently flying our missions, like, hey, this is what this looks like. Yeah. This is what it's like down there. Like that, it is an effective thing. Like, and that's kind of another gripe I've had with, who is on the board just deciding if you did enough to get this. Because they always wonder that. Like, yeah. And in a perfect world, it would be a bunch of us, people that have experienced it. So when you read a citation, you read it in a different mindset of, okay, I know he didn't have to do this here. That was above and beyond. I know that he made the decision here, like rather than just personnelists or whoever that's sitting back there judging these actions. Because I remember I saw, it was a few years ago, there was a very similar situation to what Sal Gunta got the Medal of Honor from, that happened with a TACP airman. And the story was written by a general that went to visit wounded soldiers in the field hospital out in Afghanistan. And the first thing the soldier says when he wakes up is, tell that TACP thank you. Like, because he carried him, like that guy had gotten shot and he had carried him up the mountain, like to get him out from the guys trying to move in and steal him.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, that kid got a ARCOM with Valor. Yeah. Like, and he was an E3. It's like weird because there's a Medal of Honor citation that reads awfully like this one.
Yeah. And you know, the biggest thing is, you know, it's for folks that don't know the enlisted performance reports. I mean, you have a very small line that you have to capture an accomplishment for. And it's the same thing with the award system, is that you have essentially a paragraph to capture
16 lines or something.
Exactly. To capture a 10, 12, 15, 20-hour firefight, you know, or a deployment. And it's like, you cannot get everything in there. And even if you do, you know, somewhat capture the highlights of it, there's so much more that goes on behind the curtain that, you know, I think you really have to talk to the individual and find out the story firsthand. Because, you know, like I said before, a lot of the guys leave so much out. They just capture what they feel is important. And something that they did, which was completely normal and they did not see as something extraordinary, in the eyes of folks that are, you know, watching, that is in and of itself amazing. And I don't think a lot of that gets captured. Yeah. And it, you know, so you have guys that don't get awards that are commensurate to what they actually did.
I mean, an eye-opening thing too is there was that movie that just came out. The PJ
that
got
Pittsburgher?
Pittsburgher. They got the Medal of Honor.
Yep.
And that kind of shows how frustrating it is. Mm-hmm. It was like that one PJ chief is fighting to get this guy the medal, and the people in charge of it, like how they portrayed the Secretary of the Air Force, was like, ugh, I don't got time for this. It's like, come on.
Yeah,
this is a big deal.
It's the Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you know. It's I don't know. It's really sad. You know, I think that folks need to take it. If you have a guy that's being recommended for the Medal of Honor, especially the Medal of Honor, like, man, everything should stop. You really need to look at it. You know, I mean, it's nothing.
We as a whole in the Air Force have failed this portion because we're not starved with people that deserve it.
Yeah,
like there are not situations that have happened that you and I both have friends that if you left and right it, here is the Medal of Honor. It was given to an Army guy in the last 20 years. Here's what our guy did. Like, we have failed completely at this. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, we know why. Because the pilot world.
Yep.
So let's get into this. Let's hear it.
All right.
Second Silver Star. Start with them calling you again and telling you you're getting another one. And I want to hear what your thoughts are on that. And then tell us why.
Well, you know, initially I had no idea that I was even submitted for this second one. And a good friend of mine, Chief NORAD, who was, he did it. Actually, I don't really know what the heck his job was out there, but he worked at the group, you know, and him and I kept in pretty good contact. And he's the one who actually called me and said, hey, man, your second Silver Star is in the works. And I was like, what? You know, so I literally had zero clue until he called me. And I was like, you know, and again, I was like, I mean, this is great. You know, it's a great honor, and I never really thought that it was actually.
Yeah, you never think it's going to
No,
get through.
no.
It's like, okay.
And quite honestly, a part of me was, you know, I wouldn't say I didn't care, but you know, if it happens, it happens. If not, you know, not, because, like I said, I'm not an award chaser, you know, but yeah. So, you know, I got the call and I was like, oh my God, you know, and I told my girlfriend at the time, like, oh my God, I could potentially be getting a second Silver Star. Like, what does that even mean? You know,
What does that mean?
But really, very anticlimactic. But you know, that was my initial. Hey, you could potentially get a second one.
And then when did they call you and say, hey, it's approved, we need to schedule an award ceremony?
Yeah, man. I was actually here in Lackland. I PCS'd from the 2-1 out to Lackland, and there was another guy actually getting the Silver Star. And ironically enough, he's my boss now. So, but yeah, they asked me for a list of folks that I wanted to come out and, you know, observe, and or my designated guests and whatnot. And so we were having a joint Silver Star presentation with Mr. Young now. And I mean, for me, I thought it was great because it's in front of the schoolhouse. You know, whether I feel I deserved it or not, it you know, at that point it becomes, it's like, okay, so this is where it all started. This is where I first came.
You have memories everywhere.
Yeah, you have memories everywhere. And so all these kids are going to be there, the guys that are currently going through the pipeline. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Not necessarily for me, but for them, you know. I mean, because I remember as a young airman, the first time I met Jeff Bray, you know, Mogadishu Silver Star recipient, he was my team sergeant. And man, when I got to the teams, my very first memories were like, holy shit, this guy's got a Silver Star. Like, you know, and I was like, oof.
Yeah, it's intimidating.
It is very intimidating. I got to the team and here he is, like, you know, we're around the table and he's my team sergeant. And I'm like, holy shit. And I wasn't even paying attention to the briefing because I was just in awe of the man that I'm sitting next to.
I think that's a weird thing too, because it's like, to explain to people out there that never served or anything like that, like when you come in and you're the young guy, like we were, like, these are our celebrities.
Yeah.
Like there are heroes. They're like, I knew every citation of all of our guys, like when I was in E3, like that had gotten it. Like, and I was just enthralled by it. Like this is who I want to be like. Look how he won the battle. He did it cool, calm, and collected. Like, I gotta be like that.
Yeah.
Like,
no, absolutely, man. You know, I don't watch sports very much. I've never really been into it. I've met a lot of Hollywood celebrities, met a lot of sports, athletes and whatnot. And realistically, I've never really paid much attention to them. But the guys that, you know, I admired were Colonel Cole.
keep going.
Colonel Cole, the Colonel Doolittle's right-hand man.
Doolittle
Raiders. Guys like that, I mean, they put their life out on the line. And a lot of our guys in our community, you know, they're just, those are my heroes. I want to emulate these guys, versus any of these Hollywood stars that really don't do anything but perform or play a game, you know?
I always wondered why no, like, hot Hollywood actresses ever wanted to, like, bring us to the red carpet, like, all decked out and all of our stuff.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you want that? Like, my boyfriend's a Navy SEAL.
Yeah. Get all the bling.
Yeah. You know? I would just think that if I was a female in Hollywood, like, and had risen to fame and money and everything, like, the person I would want to bring around, I would want to be able to kill everyone else.
Absolutely.
You see what I mean? Not, oh, he was in a bunch of these movies. No. Mine can kill all of you.
See, your date only played one in a movie. Mine actually did it. You know?
All right. So, yeah.
So,
what'd you get this thing for?
So, yeah, I mean, typically these awards are for a specific event. Sometimes, they'll give them out for, in my case, was a deployment. It wasn't just one thing. So mine was just a compilation of my entire deployment, which wasn't that long. It It was only about just shy of 2 months.
When you got hurt.
I did. Yeah, I did. And half my team was
Again,
wounded. Again,
by the way,
yeah.
like breaking arms.
Yeah.
Now this time.
I mean, yeah, I broke my back in 2004, broke my arms in 2009, concussions, broke my leg in 2010. Like, I mean, it's a compilation, you know, and essentially on this, about half my team was wounded.
Oh, wow.
There was, I want to say about 13 to 15 Americans, about 3 interpreters. And initially we went in, I want to say with about 40 commandos, you know, and then we had a couple other guys infill in after we actually established ourselves. But yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, you get hurt. I don't want to leave country, and you know that we're there to do a job, and you know, most of our guys can suck up the pain, and you know, it's not really a big deal. You know, I'm suffering for it now. I mean, everything hurts now, but yeah. So I just got back from my previous deployment in June, so I had about 6 months for a train up, and I mean, I just wanted to keep going back to back to back. And this was shortly after Mark Forrester was killed. And so I kind of
really... And Danny a few weeks prior.
Yes.
This is 2010.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a bad year for the community period.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Danny,
we lost Brad Smith
in
January.
Mm-hmm.
Then Danny in September. 2 weeks later, Mark Forrester.
Yep.
Like we were getting hit hard.
And then George got hurt at the same location.
Yeah. George, real close with George.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. I love that guy. Ray was another guy that was there with George. He got hit by a mortar. I mean, and then I forget the name of the SF captain that was there as well. He lost both his legs. I lost another close friend. I mean, that place has just taken so many people, you know. When Forrester was there, they pushed a lot of the fighters down south. It was about 100K by Terran Cal. So when I came in January, I literally had about a week to a week and a half to basically come up with a close air support fire plan, you know, and the guy that I was ripping out, officer type, basically gave me a high five. He's like, I'm out of here. And, you know, I went in and I had a week and a half to plan. And the first 5 days or so, basically just a presence patrol, really, you know, kind of scoping out the area. And I think that that particular location in the Helmand province, there hadn't been a presence in a while. So I think the last time that any kind of forces were there was when they were building the Kajaki Dam, the hydroelectric dam.
Yeah.
So we went in, we were just kind of moseying in, didn't really know what to expect, presence patrol. And we came up on and you know, Afghanistan, you aren't hiding from anybody, you know, especially if you're rolling in on vehicles.
No.
So, you know, we come on to these two guys putting in IEDs for us. Luckily, we caught them ahead of time. So they saw us coming at them. We took a couple of pop shots at them, just kind of warning shots, you know, because we didn't really know exactly what they were doing. There's a lot of times they fix the roads and all that stuff, so you never really know. So anyway, we took a couple pop shots. They ran off and jumped on their bike and started heading, you know, down towards the village, the closest village, which was on the west side of Kajaki. And so we come up to where they were digging, and sure enough, there were 2 IEDs. So we blew them in place, and we continued to move forward. And, you know, at this point, we had significant traffic,
ICOM
traffic that, you know, they were waiting for us, and they saw us coming, and, you know.
So we have assets up there that listens to their walkie-talkies and things with, interpreters or our own linguists, airborne linguists, TIZOs, right? Or
Zizzos, yeah.
Zizzos, yeah. Sitting in an asset, and then they're feeding this information back to us like, hey, we've got traffic. They know you guys are on your way.
Yeah.
They're all talking to each other. Lights up. That's just one of those things that exists in our tool belt.
Yep, absolutely. You know, and I mean, after we found the IEDs, we knew we were in for something.
You're
you know, we just we didn't really know the extent of what was going to happen. So, you know, we're slowly making movement to contact, and at this point, you know, we've gotten significant traffic that like, hey, they're waiting for us. So we're methodically making movement to contact. And we end up in an L ambush, and I mean near ambush. I'm talking about close within 100 yards, and we're stuck in the middle of the cemetery, open terrain. There's a couple of buildings left and right of us, but for the most part, they were in the built-up area, and it's just all hell broke loose all at once. And funny story, you know, as we're fighting. Me and one of my buddies, Dustin, we'd been working on the 240, or I'm sorry, the minigun.
Yeah.
We've been working on the minigun because we couldn't figure out what the hell was wrong with it. And we finally realized that it was the feed tray that was actually, it was jamming up. So we replaced the feed tray, and we're in this near ambush. And I hear, my buddy Omar, the Bravo, calling up. It's like, I'm really calm. It's like, hey, Dustin. And Dustin's like, yeah. And I'm trying to work air,
Yeah. So you got this in one ear.
And Dustin's like, yeah. He's like, hey man, you know that minigun that you were trying to fix the whole time that you fixed? And Dustin's like, yeah. And he's like, why don't you fucking use it?
This is what the comms are like when we're out there. Like, a lot of people don't know.
Oh my God.
Hey, you know that thing that we have that's going to end this real quick? Why aren't you on it right now?
Right in the middle of a gunfight, And the Afghans are scared shitless of it. They call it the laser. I don't know what the word for laser is in Afghan, but
yeah.
But anyway, I look up at Dustin and I'm like, yeah, bro, like, use it. And I just see him like, he's like frustrated. So he gets on the minigun, and I'm talking like a full minute, just back and forth.
Just tracer solid line, like,
oh my
right
God.
Into
it
their
literally looks like a laser being fired. And I see the tops of trees just pop, 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 pop. I mean, they're falling over. The walls on the buildings are falling over. And so he, stops. And you're only supposed to do a couple bursts because it overheats the barrel.
10 seconds, 15 seconds.
Oh my God. I don't know how many thousands of rounds per minute that thing fires, but ridiculous. So he lets go of the trigger, and there is dead silence for about...
It's like a movie.
Dude, for about 10 seconds, just both sides. Nobody's firing.
Everybody's just...
And then all of a sudden, everything's like, it's like, all right, it's on. So I had a gunship that flies during the day at that time.
The whiskey model.
The whiskey model, yeah. And so that was their first time in country, and I was the first one to actually use them in anger. Actually get to employ ordnance on people.
We like to put things on people.
But yeah, so I fed them the 9 lines. I had F-18s overhead, and I'm waiting. I gave them the 9 lines. They're setting up their orbit, and the first one goes off, and I'm like, "Yo, where's the boom?" Nothing happens. It's like, "Oh, that must have been a dud." Like, all right, reattack. And second one comes down, and I'm like,
"You see it?"
Yeah, I saw it. And I heard it impact, but I'm like, "No boom." So the captain looks over at me, and he's like, he's getting frustrated. He's like, bro, where's the, not in so many nice words. He's like, bro, where's the cast? And I'm like, sir, I'm like, I can only, I can't fly the plane for him, So anyway, F-18s check on, and they had my 9-line that they were listening, and I basically told those guys, I'm like, get the fuck out of my airspace. So they ended up scooting out, and the F-18s...
Take your duds elsewhere,
yes,
nerd.
Yes. we won't go into the F-18s, but they messed up the first one, and they ended up missing the second time, and they were bingo fuel, so they were out of fuel.
Yeah.
So they had to get the hell out of there. So I'm waiting for A-10s to come overhead.
Please, God, just give me somebody that can fight.
Oh my God. And at this point, like, man, we're taking fire from every direction. One of my buddies has been shot in the head, helmet on, of course. And then our interpreter had been shot in the leg at that point. So we're like, man, the amount of firepower that was coming at us, I'm surprised more of us didn't get hit. Our gun trucks were riddled with, bullets. But so I hear the AC-130 come back up online. It's like, hey, give us one more time. I'm like, last chance, and sure enough, they came in, they readjusted their pattern. And from then on, man, it was like, boom, boom, boom. It was like clockwork. It was a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
Oh,
once
God.
they're effective.
Oh, yeah. And then the combination of them and the A-10s that came in overhead after that was amazing.
How was the Alpha after that? Did he look at you like, ooh?
Yeah,
all right.
They don't really have to say much after that. They're like, okay. And it's kind of like a unspoken communication. And,
your insurance policy has been fulfilled.
Yes. So anyway, and I can't remember how long we were fighting for, honestly. And we ended up taking a building just off to the north. Our plan was to go ahead and continue to roll through. There was no way.
Yeah.
We really had no idea what kind of a force was back there. We assumed maybe 50, 75 fighters or whatever, but we really didn't know. So we strong pointed one of the buildings right on the outside, no buildings behind us. Everything was just south of us. And we continued to fight from day in, day out for about 5 days. And there's
so are they trying to take you guys?
Yeah.
And then you're pushing them back, and then they're trying to take for 5 days.
Yes. And which was weird to me because we'd actually get traffic. They wanted to take us alive. At least one of us alive, and we could hear them talking about it. So they would advance on us, and then, we'd come back and fight them. But, at a couple of times we tried to advance forward, and we had a team. I stayed back at the strong point, and I'm watching everything through my
Rover.
Yeah, my video downlink. Yeah. And the ODA team's moving down. And so I got the A-10s already set up, and I got 4 guys moving towards them, 5 guys actually moving towards them. And my buddy Omar, again, like I just hear him pop off a couple rounds, and I actually saw him on the video. So immediately A-10s obviously they were watching, and they picked up on it, knew exactly where our guys were at. He's like, I can be in like 5 seconds. I'm like, you're cleared hot.
Boom.
As soon as I gave him the cleared hot, man, I'm telling my guys, and I talked to them before. I'm like, listen, man, we ever do anything danger close? I'm like, I will warn you. You hit the fucking ground, all right? Because, and I explained to them what a 30 millimeter will do when it fragments. And so anyway, I shit you now, I didn't even have to tell them. They just hit the deck as low as they could. I'm like, hey, get down. A-10 comes in, does a strafing run on the within the cemetery. And man, I mean, all those dudes go down. A 5th one got away, but he was dead and probably didn't even know it, But we ended up carrying the bodies back to the strong point and just kind of set them outside.
Stacking them up.
Exactly. Yeah. That gives stacking bodies an entirely new meaning, right?
Hey, it's what you do. Let them know, hey, you come around here, this is what you're going to be. You're going to be part of our wall.
Yep. So anyway, like after that, we're like, you know what? Maybe we should get out of here. And after 5 days, we're running low on supplies, running low on ammo. And they were waiting for us to actually come out of the building. So we ended up calling another team for reinforcements. They were up to the northwest of us. And so the intent was when they come in, they're going to draw fire.
Wait a minute. this wasn't. I might be confusing too, but did a team get stuck in the mud that was coming out to you?
No,
Okay.
It wasn't that one. It wasn't that. But a vehicle did roll over on our way back.
Yeah.
From that particular team. But no, yeah. On this one, no vehicle stuck in the mud. It was just, they came out, and I mean, we were expecting them to get a little bit closer before they started getting shot at. And I mean, as soon as they were within small arm reach, all hell just opened loose. And
Again.
and we were not ready for it, so we're like.
So you have an alternate team coming in from the north to meet you guys, and then you're going to roll out.
Yes. Yeah. What did they call them back then? The VCPs or whatever it is. I can't remember what they're called. There's just the little cops or whatever that are out there.
Yeah, the cops are...
Yeah, so it's just an ODA team with a couple guys, minimally manned. And so anyway, they came out and they started taking fire, drew fire for us. And as soon as we made it out of the building, we just started getting lit up, man. And that's where I got my 240 kill. It was fantastic.
Oh, let's hear it.
Oh, man. So we're running, we're hauling ass out, right? And everybody's engaging something. And I see a couple of dudes shooting out of the door. And I just turned my gun. I'm trying to get air at this time, And so I just turned my 240 to the left, and I'm like, brrr, and right through the door. And I saw one dude fall, and I'm assuming I'm gonna say I hit the second.
You got both.
I got both.
We're gonna give you that one.
But that door was just lit up, And we fought our way out the entire thing, And nobody got besides my buddy getting shot in the head, and he lived. Just had a pretty bad headache for a while.
Helmet.
Yeah. And then our Terp getting shot, which was, nothing major. But anyway, we ended up coming back home, and we pretty much stirred the hornet's nest, And so 2 weeks.
So you guys refit.
Yes.
And you're like, all right, we're going back in.
Yeah, rest, refit. And 2 weeks later, we ended up going in. And this time we were a lot better prepared. We had a situational awareness of what was there, And again, we still had no idea fully what the hell was there. I estimated about, 50 to 75 dudes that we were actually fighting. But anyway.
That's a lot of people to be fighting.
It is. So I thought. But after, and I'll tell you about that later. After the fact, I was like, holy shit. I've never faced this many people, and we had no idea at the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, rest and refit. Instead of coming in from the northeast this time, we ended up going up from the northwest. So passing the little cop that was there that helped us out initially. Yeah. So, we're trying to get the element of surprise on our side, and no. We got blown. We hit an IED on the way down. So we had to wait, and there was another little village reporting about, anywhere you go in Afghanistan, there's somebody up on the mountain, and they're always going to be reporting. So the element of surprise was gone. Blew up a vehicle and a trailer. Luckily, we only had a few guys injured at the time, Afghans, no Americans yet. And so we ended up stopping at the bottom of the hill, and we blew the vehicles up in place, 500 pounders, got a couple of A-10s on board, and got rid of them. We don't want to leave them there for the enemy to exploit. So we continue on. And the second day we wake up, we run in this little, ruins, basically. It's just half walls about 4 feet high. And some dumbass compromised, I want to say, a couple of months worth of crypto. They lost the entire, what is it? Well, what are they called? The
Pick 13 or
no, the
Crazy 10.
The Crazy 10.
Yeah, A and CD.
They lost an entire Crazy 10. So I wake up that morning and I'm like, man, I haven't heard shit on the radio. And my comms guy, SATCOM, everything's down, right? And I have aircraft flying overhead. And I'm like, man, they got to be here for me. So I try to get up on comms and nothing, you know, so revert back to
on
guard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, you guys up here for, you know, my call sign? And they're like, yeah. They're like, hey, I'm like, hey, bro, switch back to the prior crypto and we'll talk that way. So luckily they had it and they anticipated, you know,
that you guys didn't get changeover.
So anyway, well, we changed over, but dumbass lost the crazy 10. So we started talking. He's like, hey, man, this is what happened. And we chilled out there for a little while. And we actually had a helicopter fly us in a new crazy 10 with the updated crypto. And at that point, man, like they were setting up on us. Like as soon as we started moving out, we took a recoilless rifle. We got hit from one of the compounds. Like, I mean, and we also hit another IED on the way there, which is, I mean, out in the middle of nowhere. Like, I mean, we took different routes and this IED was placed out in the middle of nowhere. So, and again, luckily we got lucky and it was only the Afghan vehicle that got hit. We blew that one up in place and continued to push forward. So the intent was to continue to push into the town. You know, the mission was to deny safe haven. Apparently, you know, it's where the bad guys go on vacation for whatever reason. I don't know. And it was pretty built up, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, it was, you know, we're talking like, you know, as far as in terms of mud cities, it literally was, I mean, built up right along the river valley. So anyway, we go in and we're taking fire the entire time we're going in. And the captain decided, hey, we're going to strong point this building. The original concept was to have two teams. One come in from the northwest, the second team push out to the northeast, and we'd flank them with a dividing line in between. And obviously that never happened. I mean, we were getting bombarded left and right. And what they were using trenches, old aqueducts that they would build holes and come up. So you'd never really even see them coming out of the caves. They would sit in the back of the caves and fire, and you don't get any muzzle flashes.
Yeah.
But so we decided to hunker down, and it was day in and day out. We'd literally go out early morning and we'd fight it out, and we'd come back in, and it just continued on for 15 days. But
15 days of just duking it out, rolling back, duking it out, rolling back.
Oh yeah. So, you know, this was wintertime as well. You know, we finally figured out where the hell they were coming from, right? And we started making some deliberate movements and starting to clear the town. So we would push in one day, and I mean, we were fighting through. So literally, we were fighting in the mud. We were fighting in the rain. I was dropping through probably a 200 foot cloud deck, dropping through the weather with B1s, danger close.
Fuck.
And at one point, like, man, and this is straight out of a Hollywood movie, right? So we're about a week into it. And I mean, everybody's tired. Everybody's hurting. We're run out of supplies. So we go in and we make a full-on attack. And the Afghans are, you know, you only get probably about a week's worth of work on them. And so we're close enough to see the whites of their eyes. We're literally chucking grenades back and forth. They're chucking it at us, and we're chucking it right back at them. They're coming out from around the walls, and they're firing RPGs right at us. And true trench warfare. Like, man, you know, for a second, I'm like, man, this is just like World War II. You know, it was fucking awesome, you know, and
just,
oh my God. And at one point, you know, I was like, you know what would make this, and this in the middle of the fight, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, there's always humor in the middle of the fight. Like, always. Like, some of the funniest shit has happened during major gunfights, you know? And I was like, you know, the only thing that would make it better right now is if it started hailing. And the skies open up, and what do you know? There's hail coming right at us. And all the guys were looking at me like, dude, shut the fuck up. Holy fuck. So we continue to push forward, right? And we're getting hammered at this point.
Dude.
So A-10s are overhead. And I'm like, dude, Captain's like, we got to do something, man. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, this is going to be danger close. You good? He's like, all right.
He's like, I'm good.
Yeah. He's like, there's my off initials. And he's always working on getting clearance, right? Well, like this particular, I mean, they were fucking close. And I mean, I was dropping regardless. I'm like, hey, sir, I'm fucking dropping. Give me that clearance, right? And he's like, dude, I'm trying. I'm like, so I'd already given him the cleared hot. And they're coming in, danger close. Everybody's hunkered down. And he's like, all right, you got the clearance. I'm like, oh, it's all right because I already dropped.
Yeah, it's in the air.
It's in the air, bombs away. And, 3 500-pounders go off in front of us. And there was silence, right? And then shortly after that, and again, we're a week into it. And the commandos are hurting. Everybody's kind of, at this point, we're tired. We're hungry. We're out of supplies. We're out of food. And man, as soon as those bomb hits, like all those dudes are like, Rah! Raising their guns up in the air. And it was like somebody said, charge. And all these dudes just started hauling ass down the trench lines, above the trench lines, going right back at it.
You trench warfare in Afghanistan.
Oh my God. And we had it all on first person video, right?
Really?
The entire thing.
Dude, do we get part of this? Is that cleared?
I wish we did. I was so pissed off. So when we downloaded the footage, I mean, we had all the footage from the beginning, we downloaded it onto a corrupt CF-19 computer. And we lost every single bit of that footage, man. I was so pissed off.
I would be so excited if we could cut to some of this helmet cam right now.
Oh my God. It is amazing. A lot of people, and I think Hollywood does a disservice in this, because I mean, how many gunfights have you been in where it's just hilarious the entire time?
Everything. I mean, all the ones I've been in, like, there's definitely jokes rolling around everywhere. Yeah. It's like, and like you said, oh man, I really wish it would hail right now.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
I remember there was a conversation between me and a couple of infantry guys about grenade. Like, you got any grenades? Fresh out. Like, that's what I'm listening to. Like,
oh my God.
Man, really could use one right now. Yeah, so could those guys right in front of us in their face. Like, you're listening to this as you're like also trying to talk to everybody from here to space. It's
so when my buddy Omar got hurt, we were actually stacked up on the door, and he ended up calling me over, and so I go up and stack over the door. Then we look off to the right. And all of a sudden, the field opens up, and there's this RPG that slams right in front of us. So anyway, he ends up taking shrapnel to his right leg. Later, I found out that it missed him by millimeters. He's like jumping around like, shit, I'm hit, and I'm like, bro, come here. And right in the middle of the gunfight, man, I'm like, drop drawer. He's like, bro, I ain't got no underwear on. And I'm like, dude, fucking drop drawer.
Let me see it.
Yeah, let me see. I need to make sure, you need a tourniquet, bandage it up or whatever. So he drops his drawer, and I got his cock hanging out right in front of me. And I'm like, bro, come on. So I bandage up his leg, tiny little pinprick. I mean, you could barely tell that it wasn't like, these a major wound like you do in, in the movies, which, there are some that do look like it, but it was amazing. And so on our way back, like we actually, we were getting hit pretty hard. And me and about 5 other guys decided to bring up the rear. And we're in a clearing and we're halfway back to our strong point. And we start taking fire. And so we all get down and we're returning fire. And I'm like, all right, hey, I'm going to continue to fire. You guys go ahead and run out, right? And what happens when, the last man taps you on the shoulder? He's like, hey, last man. So I'm sitting there like engaging like a dumbass, buried face deep in the mud, and nobody taps me. And I'm sitting there firing when I think I hear somebody calling me. And I look over to my right and they're like, come on. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Where was my tap? So I'm running across this open field to get back into cover. And I'm like, holy Jesus. But it was hilarious at the time, I mean, it really is amazing what you find funny. And, you know, it's not so much the gunfights that are memorable either. Like, I mean, for example, like, man, my buddy Rolando, he was the chef, right? He brought onions, he brought eggs, he brought potatoes, he brought beans, and he was just an amazing chef. So every night when we got back after a gunfight, after the day of fighting, like
back in our trenches.
Yeah.
Like, everybody pause.
Fuck yeah. You know, and Rolando would have this like, you know, feast waiting for us. And I'm like, oh my God. And, you know, it's like, those are some of the most memorable things. And I mean, even when we got resupplied, you know, we ended up getting resupplied 3 different times, 4 pallets, 3 different times, 4 pallets of ammo, grenades, 240. I mean, it was insane.
It was like, here we go. Let's start today back up.
Yep. So, I mean, it was just ridiculous. So on that resupply, we would also, you know, Rolando's like, hey, man, we're out of onions. We're out of all this stuff. We're out of cigarettes and ribbons. I'm like, put those motherfuckers on the top of the list. And they're like, dude, they're never going to give it to us. I'm like, hey. I'm like, you never know until you try.
Yeah, just try it.
So, and I forget the name of the general. Like, we got a call back. You know, it's like, hey, it says here your priority is cigarettes and dip and onions and all this shit. And, you know, we're like, yeah.
Yeah. Who cares what our priority is? We're fighting.
Like, yeah. And I think one of the generals, I want to say it was General Miller, you know, he came out and he was like, you get those boys whatever the hell they need and you tell them to keep on fighting, you know, and we're like, we got our shit. We got our resupply.
What a good, that's the right mindset right there. Like, they want onions and cigarettes, fucking give it to them.
Yep.
Here you guys go. Keep pushing.
Fuck yeah. You know, and we did have some, you know, serious moments, man, where I want to say it was about a week and a half or into it, you know, about halfway into it. Most of the guys were hurt in some capacity. This particular day, we ended up killing 2 guys setting up IEDs for us. And we ended up pushing into the village going after we killed them to do the BDA. And so my buddy Logan, and then we're all lined up walking in sort of a staggered file formation. And all of a sudden, one of the guys gets hit, you know, and the Afghan gets hit. And I mean, it automatically, I knew he was dead. The Afghan, at least, you know. So the first Afghan who stepped on a pressure plate was dead. The guy behind him was, I think he ended up dying later. But then my buddy Josh was behind him, and he ended up taking shrapnel from the first guy.
His bone and shit.
Yeah, essentially it was his bone. Ripped his entire throat out. Ripped his throat out. And, you know, I ran up there, and we had another American there, and he ended up suffering concussion and took some shrapnel as well, not as bad as Josh. And so I ran up there, and the first thing that I see is Josh pointing at his throat, like, man, it couldn't talk, obviously. And I'm like, holy shit, you know. So I called up my medic, Jeff. I'm like, hey, bro. And as soon as he saw it, I mean, amazing, you know, awesome Delta, which is the
Special Forces medic.
Delta. He grabs his tube, automatically sticks it down his throat. And I mean, we really couldn't even tell where his trach started or anything. Like, it was just
get him breathing.
Yeah. But what was surprising, man, is he was so calm. Like, Josh was like so fucking calm, which is, you know, you really don't expect that in an injury that severe. And, you know, we were right in the middle of a gunfight as usual. And the medevac wouldn't come out. They did not want to come out because we had a active, you know, we're still in a tick.
Yeah.
A full-blown tick, you know. So finally I called up and I'm like, this dude's going to die if we do not get a medevac in. So eventually they sent one in, you know, and it's still bad weather. And I mean, it's shitty conditions. And I mean, they were ready to shoot this thing down. They were ready to shoot the medevac down. And I actually had A-10s to put down suppressive fire. I just pick the field, I mean, when you hear the burp,
Yeah, it's like everybody
shuts up, Their intent was to shoot down. And then they didn't want to land because the area that I picked was inside of a courtyard big enough to house a 60, land a 60. And like, they're like, hey, has this been cleared of an IED or IEDs potentially? And I was like, shit, everybody's busy. They're doing their job. And so I get up, man, and I'm literally walking up and down like an idiot. And, I'm like, well, my buddy's dying. If I don't get him in here, whatever. And if he gets shot down
or send the basket down?
No, they didn't. Like, I cleared that entire thing by foot, and like my thought process at the time is like, man, I don't want any of our guys to go down. And I sure so don't want the healer to go down, So once I finished walking the entire thing, I was like, hey, you're cleared to land. It's been cleared. And they're like, all right, gotcha. So they land, they take Josh away. And I mean, as we were pulling back, like we just leveled the place. Like I got clearance to just completely obliterate everything and anything in that area. So as we're walking back, I'm just doing countless drops, but dropping everything that I could. But yeah, man, I mean, there was times where it got so intense and I was so busy that I literally had no time to write down any 9 lines.
You're just throwing grids, corrections,
throwing grids,
knowing where everybody is. Like,
yep.
Hey, confirm no one's forward of us. Nope. All right, that way.
Yeah, but and I trusted.
So when did you get hit?
With about the same time that Omar took the shrapnel to the leg.
Oh yeah.
So what happened was, I mean, it's at dusk and it's dark conditions, and I usually roll with my sunglasses on. I couldn't see shit because of the dust and everything. So I took my glasses off, and I mean, it sounds to me it's kind of lame getting a Purple Heart for that, honestly. But what ended up happening is the overpressure fucked up my eye.
Yeah.
So the overpressure caused the membrane in my eye to air or whatever the hell happens back there. And so when it healed over after about a year or so, like there was scar tissue in the eye. So life limber eyesight, and I still have a blind spot from it. So, to me, in my opinion, it's kind of a lame way to get a Purple Heart.
It's so funny.
But
it's funny that's our attitude because like we feel guilty.
Yeah, I really do, man.
Like, oh no. Whereas anybody on the other, wait, what? You took a bomb to the face?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
And every other injury, man, I never want to leave country. So it's like, one of my buddies was actually flying on the whiskey after that happened.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him and I'm like, hey, bro, I'm like, my eye's pretty fucked up. I'm like, I can barely see out of it, And he's like, hey, man, you want to come out of the field? And I'm like, hell no. I'm like, I am finishing this, and I'm not done here yet, And, but anyway, that is the reason why because I ended up telling him. And, in a way, that's good leadership. That's good looking out, because I didn't anticipate anything. It was just him and I bullshitting on the net after, a day of fighting. And so anyway, I get presented with a Purple Heart when I got back. And I was like, what the fuck is this for? And hindsight, it was literally hindsight.
Yes.
Because of my eyeball, and I was like, oh, okay. And, I didn't want to take it. And it was like, you have no choice. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Oh, man. That's a good one, though.
Oh, my God.
This has been a good story.
Bro, it is the amount of, I mean, there was even a Mexican standoff in this thing. Like literally Mexican standoff. Not to get, for PC guys, turn it off right now.
You're Mexican, you're fine.
I'm Mexican, I'm good. Like literally from the day that we infilled to the day that we exfilled, we were getting shot at, we were getting blown up. And it came to a point where, like, man, our own counterparts turned against us because they took the brunt of it.
Yeah.
Half of us were wounded, walking wounded. 2 guys got medevac, but they, oh my God, like they took the brunt, and they had, and I can't even remember the number of KIA they had. I want to say it was like 12 or 14 plus another 15 wounded. It was insane. So as we were exfilling, we hit another IED, and usually, typically what happens is, us as Americans, we go and pull everybody out, and the Afghans had seen us doing that. And for whatever reason, these guys decided to say, hey, we got it. And they went in, grabbed, and I mean, they hit another IED, and 3 more dudes got killed, 3 more guys got wounded. And it was just, and at that point, like, man, we were tired. We were hungry. We were like, I mean, we're smoked.
Done.
We're smoked after 15 days. And so I'm sitting on top of the hill and I'm watching the commander. He's basically got his rifle pointed right at my alpha, my team leader. And so I put my scope on this guy's head and I radio down. I'm like, hey, sir, I'm like, just give me the word. And he's like, everybody fucking stand down. Nobody fucking do anything. And he's sitting there talking it out with him. So he diffused the situation. And we eventually made the decision to go ahead and pull those guys out of the field and get a new group of guys to come in and support us. And we also had another team come in from the north to clear the pass, our only way out of there. But yeah, man, you throw everything and anything into this thing. And, we probably don't have time to go into the whole thing, man, but it's insane. And, the one thing that I want to say is, like, man, that team worked. I mean, they used all my products. Everyone did their job. It was a fine-tuned
What
machine.
group was that?
7-2 or 7213.
Nice. 7213.
Man, they were awesome. And I mean, every team I worked with was great, but these guys, they were amazing. And they used all my products. Everybody communicated efficiently. Everybody knew the role. Everybody knew their part. And everybody was about getting at it, and the things that I saw, like, I mean, I'm fortunate that I got recognized, but I think these guys, man, like, at a minimum, they should have been a silver star for all these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen dudes go way beyond their frontline trace, chasing after, the bad guys, returning fire. I mean, going above and beyond.
Anybody you want to shout out?
Oh, man.
Give thanks to?
Dude, Jeff Tompkins.
Yeah.
Man, we're actually medevacing one of our other Deltas who was blown up with Josh. And, like, man, we went out there, me and the other JTAC. I had another a backup JTAC with me. I'm placing the strobe to medevac this guy out, and I get shot from my own guys. And as I'm turning around to pie to shoot this dude, my buddy pulls me out of the way. And next thing I know, I see Jeff running up. So when I turned to pie to shoot our dude who was shooting at us, which I have no idea why, honestly, hindsight, he was probably trying to kill us so we can go home. JTAC, it's a go, no go. So hindsight, he was trying to get rid of the JTACs, me and the other guy, and so I see Jeff, like, shooting or basically just punching this dude, butt stroking him on the rooftop, and so, I mean, he saved my life, man, like, literally saved my life. Rolando, man, that dude is fantastic. I mean, he had his eye pretty much cut underneath from, blasts and overpressure and everything. Dustin with the minigun, holy fuck, man. Alex, he was our alpha, fucking amazing. Tony, our team sergeant, like, I mean, Miller, every one of those dudes, man, like, and I apologize if I left anybody out of there, but, like, that entire team at that time, and they know who they are. It's just every one of those dudes at that time was just an amazing team. And I still keep in contact with a lot of those guys, man. Good friends. Jeff actually lives here in town. So does Dustin.
We need to do this again.
Yeah, we do, man.
With the round table.
We do. Dustin is an amazing guy. So is Jeff. Jeff's still doing he's in the guard and he's doing some contract work.
Awesome. Ish, we can't thank you enough for coming back here and doing round 2.
Oh, bro, thank you for having me, man.
That was quite the story. And yeah, let's do it again. Let's get these guys out here and let's keep going down these roads.
And we got to get Balls out here again too.
Oh, absolutely.
So he was like instrumental in that.
Oh, he was flying for you while this was going on. And he lives here.
For me. Yeah. And, you know,
he's been out here before.
I'd meant to bring him up, but that dude, I mean, without him coming back out, him and his crew, and I wish I could get some of the whiskeys out here, man, but it's just, you ever had a mission, like it, and I say it's a wet dream because every single player from air, from the guys on the ground, from a support standpoint, like, man, everything fell into place. It was amazing.
That's awesome. No, thank you.
No, thanks, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, free range.